Do you ever scroll through Etsy and see printables and think, that's not cute, who's buying that? Well, I've been there, and as it turns out, there's a ton of people buying that, which makes people like you and me consider making printables to sell on Etsy that we know we could do so much cuter. Am I right? I mean, if there are people making money off of printables you completely disapprove of, just think of how many people would buy your printables. What if you have no design background? No worries, I'm here to tell you it's totally doable with or without professional design skills. Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I teach women to make printables so they can use their creative skills to make passive income. And what I want to tell you is that I am not a designer. My background is in journalism, not design. One of my first assignments in that job was some mission statement poster for my organization. My boss told me to download Adobe Photoshop and get to work. Now, to be totally candid with you, this was pre-Canva, which I know dates myself a little bit, but just go with me here. Now, have you ever tried teaching yourself Adobe? Just a tad bit intimidating, right? But I opened it up and did the best I could by trial and error and a little bit of Googling to create this poster. And it wasn't easy, but I made it through and delivered on the project. That was when I realized design was fun. And although I wasn't really any good at Adobe Photoshop, I liked the feeling that the design gave me. It was fun and simple, and I didn't have to think too much while I was designing. So I got a few more projects in that role, and I started to really get the hang of a handful of skills that I could use in Photoshop to produce simplistic designs that people didn't seem to think were so terrible. That was when I had the idea to mix my love of party planning and crafting with these newfound basic skills in Adobe to sell printable party decorations on Etsy. So with only a few basic skills, I opened my shop. And guess what? No one seemed to mind that I wasn't a professional designer or that I only knew about 10 skills in Photoshop. Now, here's the question you're gonna ask me. Why don't you just use Canva? It's free and seemingly much easier to learn, right? My answer to that is you absolutely can. And if you're just too intimidated to start with a professional design software program, Canva might be the way to go for you. What I want to stress here is that no matter what software you use, I want you to be encouraged that you don't have to be a professional or have a ton of experience to get started. As you can tell from my story, it was just a series of events that led me to realize that expressing my creativity through design was a super fun thing to do. And as it turns out, making money by doing so is even more fun. In fact, I have now sold over $100,000 in printables on Etsy and still wouldn't consider myself a professional designer. So are you sitting on the sidelines and not starting just because you're waiting for all the skills you need? You know what I really hear when people say things like that to me? That your limiting beliefs are stopping you from getting started and taking action. In case you didn't know, a limiting belief is just a belief that stops you from doing the things you need to do to get the results that you want. And so many times we let our limiting beliefs, like I'm not a professional designer, stop us from starting something like a printables business. Because then we can't look stupid if we fail, right? But have you ever heard the phrase, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? So many times we think that the devil we know is better than the devil we don't. But I'm here to challenge you on that today. Why not start selling printables on Etsy without the professional design skills and see what could happen? Honestly, you might not be that good at it when you first start, but you'll get better. And one day you'll be looking back and telling your story on how you started making passive income through printables on Etsy with no design skills. Don't let your limiting beliefs and fear get in the way. Get started today with or without those professional design skills. And if you need help, watch some of my other videos to help you take the next steps. I'm rooting for you, and I will see you in the next video.